You're tuning in to Past Our Prime, a show powered by Squad Locker.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Here are your hosts, retired Astros minor league star Tip Fairchild and former Patriots All-Pro center Dan Copen.
Go rock this thing, huh?
In-person guest.
Yeah, this is pressure right now. Now
So much
we're going to
pressure.
do it. I'm Dan, he's Tip. We are Past Our Prime, powered as always by Squad Locker, your one-stop shop for all your custom decoration needs. Also, we have a newsletter coming out.
We do.
That will touch on previous guests, highlights of it,
Highlights, clips.
What
else, Max? We miss anything?
Promos for Squad Locker gear.
Oh, that's the biggest part. Promos for Squad Locker gear. That's huge. Okay, and then how do we find it? And we're going to ask people
now,
to do this.
now we're going to go to Max.
Yeah, we're going to Max.
In the link in the bio. Click the link in our bio. It's going to bring you right to our flow page.
If people don't understand link in the bio,
go to our Instagram.
Go to our Instagram.
Click
if people
on the
don't
little
understand
blue thing.
Instagram, you got to go to our
right
Instagram.
to the flow page.
Past our Prime show. That's our Instagram. So
And
click on the link on the bio.
Also, it will have, once we get a schedule, once we get that organized, it will have a schedule of upcoming guests.
Ooh.
Right?
Yep.
So
I like that.
it's a new...
The newsletter is big. Well, I'm guessing we'll talk about it again before the end of this episode.
I'm probably.
Just that way, if people skip the beginning, we get them on the end.
Yeah, we had in studio guest today, DeJesus, which is a phenomenal last. I feel like I should bow or something like that. With that last name.
I do too.
I don't know if that's the blasphemy.
It's
to
a
do
great,
that, but
powerful name.
Let me just say this. I'm 66 years old.
so you should bow anyway.
I've heard
You look great for 76.
I've heard every Jesus joke, DeJesus joke.
Yeah.
I've heard them all.
I bet you have.
Not one that can surprise
There's nothing
me.
that we can
No,
hit you with.
Absolutely
We got it.
not.
But Dennis was the CEO of Special Olympics Rhode Island for 13 years. He's recently retired, but we've participated in a golf event the last few years with Squad Locker. Squad Locker is a big sponsor of Special Olympics Rhode Island. Yesterday we competed.
Yeah.
We didn't win.
We didn't. We can't win this thing.
Coming close.
Yeah.
We're usually in the top 2, 3, 4, 10 under.
But if I remember, someone had the longest drive.
yeah, that's accurate.
Technically, it wasn't the longest drive on that hole. It was just in the fairway.
I
It
will
was just
say,
in
I
the
will
fairway.
say, we had a debate. Frank, our CFO, leads the. He's our team leader.
Sure.
Gotta
have one of those.
former quasi college athlete, I guess you could say, out of him.
I mean, I don't see it.
But I don't see it either. But he fills his team with. Dan, couple Super Bowls.
No, it fills it with
All-Pro.
professional athletes.
Professional
Couple
athletes.
of big
Thank you,
guys.
Dan.
A couple of big
Dan,
guys.
You got Trent Whitfield, who's an NHL guy.
Yeah.
And then you got me, a semi-pro.
A professional.
Professional baseball
We're just going to
player.
call you a professional from now on.
Thank you. Dan.
Professional.
So-
did you get paid?
I got paid, absolutely.
Professional.
Absolutely. Not
Pro.
well, but yes, absolutely.
Did you
Tip,
get
you're
a
a pro in our eyes.
That's
There
right.
you go.
Thank
Pro
you,
in our
Dennis.
eyes.
See, Dennis
There
is
you
a
go.
big-time guy. So that's our team. Frank said, hey, Dan was crushing drives. Trent was making putts. I was hitting my wedges great. We don't know what Tip did, though. He's like, we don't know what Tip did. I was like, guys, I'm the glue. I'm the glue.
Yeah.
I'm the anchor. We know if we had a bad shot, I'm going to get us close maybe. But I didn't do much great yesterday. I had a big drive on the first hole.
I think we're just
glue.
consistent, right? I mean, nobody did anything special. We were close. For one hole, we were probably looking at a bogey one hole.
Yeah.
Par to par five.
Par to par
which is
5.
brutal.
That's a killer.
That's a killer.
That's a killer for us.
And that's
so.
probably where we.
I don't know. I don't par that many par 5s in my own ball.
No.
Yeah, so that hurts.
Because you got
I got distance.
your silky smooth swing right now.
But it's all about all about supporting
what-
the great athletes
There
of
you
Special
go.
Olympics
Bring
Rhode
us-
Island.
bring
Forget
us
about your game and your
us back to
egos.
life.
Put your egos
Yeah, put 'em to the
aside.
side.
It's
It's hard.
I would
It's hard
say
to do when we get on the course.
You do. Let's talk golf tournaments for a second in general, because I've played in, and my father-in-law now, the Rainoni family, so Mike, and then
Is it
Ronnie.
Rainone or Rainoni?
The boys say it Rainoni.
Well, let's ask Jesus here.
No, I always say Raynon.
Yeah, my wife says
I never
Rainoni.
put an E.
I think they hear both. I think they hear both. Trust me.
Yeah.
I deal with this on a hourly basis. So they, me coming to Rhode Island 14 years ago, I've played in more golf scrambles with my father-in-law and Ronnie. I don't know if you can play in as many as I've played in. There was years where I was playing in probably 15. like
Every-
20
every
scrambles.
Monday?
Yeah,
Every Monday
every
the
Monday.
entire summer.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, how do you guys? And they're connected. They're in a lot of different things, and they've always, I know, been big supporters of Special Olympics. And I remember going to some of the first ones. Now you do a good job where the food's out. This is the big key.
Yep.
Biggest key to these golf tournaments. They're always going to be slow because you want to have full fields.
Right.
You want to have as many people as you can, and people get that because they're there to spend the money and support the group that they're, they're going there to support.
And hopefully they're bringing a foursome that they enjoy being around.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's a big key,
That's
right?
key.
Yep.
So then next you have the people who are unorganized. Not you guys. Food's not out. Scoreboards aren't updated. Like they do a raffle late. Like you're there for 3 more hours.
Yeah.
You do it nice. Food's out. Give people 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Bang. Scores come out.
Go home.
Call it a day.
Call it a day. It's
That's
a long
how
day.
you do it.
It's a long day.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're there at 12:30, you know, you got to get home by 7:30 at the latest.
That's right.
So the one thing I really stressed to the people yesterday at Potawatomi was, I want the food served when the first group comes off the tee. It's
the way to do
when
it.
they finish
Perfect.
the green.
Finish green. Yep.
At 18, they're done with their 18. I want them to eat. I don't want the half-hour cocktail hour, the 45-minute cocktail. I don't want the raffle where you're drawing numbers and you're
One at a
calling
time.
numbers.
There's
Oh, my
25
Lord above.
things. There you go.
Exactly. So we try to. We're very conscious of the fact that we got to get people in, have them play, feed them lunch, have them play, and then get them supper, and then get them home.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Have you been in some of the long ones? You've been in
Yeah.
some of the long ones too, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I think of
The raffle pulling is the trouble.
the long, but the long ones too. And then it's sometimes when you're boozing a little bit, maybe
yeah.
that prolongs the night.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
as
goes
I've gotten older, I've gotten more mature. That doesn't happen very
And
much.
it's always Mondays usually.
It's usually
Right,
a
it's
Monday
usually
and
Monday.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, you got stuff to do on Tuesday, so
Yeah.
you can't spend all night.
They do say don't let Tuesday ruin your Monday.
Wow.
It's the other way around. Don't let Monday ruin your Sunday, but the weeks never end for us, Max. Right? There's every day's a Sunday for somebody like Dan.
Oh,
Yeah. I was nice to you before.
And you now, Dennis.
Yes.
Every day's a Sunday for you now.
So
You're
what
retired.
brought you to the Special Olympics 13 years ago?
years
Yeah. Well, it even goes back further than that. I was the director of Parks and Recreation in the city of Cranston. And we invited the Special Olympics to come to Cranston Stadium to do some events. And I went there, and I was absolutely hooked. I saw the smiles, I saw the happiness, saw the camaraderie, saw the competition, because when they get into competition, they're competing. And I went over to the director at the time. I said, I would love to serve on your board if you have room. And she invited me to the board. I became vice chair, I became chairman of the board. Then I left the organization. But in the back of my mind, I always knew that if there was ever an opportunity to get back in a leadership role, I would love to go back. So in my career, at the time, I was director of advancement at Bishop Hendricken High School. I was doing fundraising, alumni affairs, and I thought I would never leave. I'm a sports guy, jock. What better place to be than Bishop Hendricken, right? Then Mike McGovern, my predecessor, knocked on my door one day and said, I put in my resignation, I'm retiring, and I think you'd be perfect for the job. So I threw my hat in the ring, and lo and behold, 13 years ago tomorrow, August 31st, 2009, I was appointed a director of Special Olympics. And people always say to me, oh, what a great job you've done. No. I'm the one who's been truly blessed to be around. And Dan, you got a sister who has intellectual disabilities. Be around those people. You can't have a bad day. Now, you're not going to be a millionaire. You're not going to, put your head on. But when you put your head on the pillow at the end of the day, you feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah.
What are we, 10 minutes in, I've got chills already.
Yeah, that's you got a good voice for this.
Chills.
too. Yeah.
No,
A lot
I'm
better than
serious.
ours.
I'm serious. It's just that you can't have a bad day. I
Yep.
mean, they approach every day with a smile on their face. It should really teach you a life lesson right then and there.
Yep.
But it's been an incredible run. Great staff, great board of directors. But the athletes just they put that smile on your face. It can't come off.
Yeah, I'm going to use a big word right now. You ready for this word?
Uh-oh.
I
you
feel like,
spell it?
and I've been here. I cannot spell it. Get this ready, Max, in case. So again, I've been in Rhode Island 14 years. You are synonymous with. That's the word.
I bet you could
I
spell
think
it.
that's the right word. I can't. Synonymous.
You didn't go to
with-
Boston College,
with-
did you?
Southern Maine. So, yeah. Synonymous with Special Olympics, Rhode Island. Like that, I look at it as being really you and your general personality and who you are and how you act. Right? It feels like I want to be. If I'm gonna pick something to be, a part of or go to, that's it for me. It has been since I've been here.
Yeah, I jumped into an organization that had a very solid foundation. I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. I didn't have to throw out a whole staff, bring in a whole new staff. Everything was pretty much in place when I came on board. Mike McGovern did a wonderful job putting everything in place. And then we just built on that and grew on that. Then opportunities came on our way. And I got to be honest, there aren't too many people who say no to Special Olympics.
Yeah.
When you go and you have to make an ask for at any company, corporation in Rhode Island, and you say Special Olympics, they're not going to say no.
Yeah.
So that made it easy too. And then we just expanded our programs, got into our schools. We did a lot with our high school program, middle school program. That really flourished over the last 10, 15 years. So, everything kind of fell into place, but worked with an amazing staff and an amazing board, a board that never said no, a board that never micromanaged me, a board that allowed us to do the work that we did and was always there on the supportive side.
Do you have any idea, and you might know this, how many overall lives or athletes, you kind of were associated with during the 13 years there? Do you have an idea on that?
Pre-COVID, we were up to about 4,500 athletes pre-COVID.
Yep.
We were really steaming. We were going great guns. And then COVID hit, and that threw us for a loop.
Yeah.
To the point where, not only the four of us sitting here today, we couldn't understand COVID. You can imagine what an athlete was going through.
Right.
So before COVID, I'm thinking maybe about 4,500 athletes. Since then, probably around 2,000, 2,500, building up every single year. But those were tough times. But at the peak, when we were really running, really going big, I would say about 4,500.
Yeah, that's a big number. And we've heard that just in our industry, right? We're in youth sports, high schools, everything, right? Squad locker. So we've seen if it's a soccer, just your standard Parks and Rec soccer organization, say it's CLCF or something like that, right? Sure. They might have 1,200 kids playing soccer. During those COVID years, it went down to like 500, 600. Yeah. So it was almost in half. Yeah. They're building back up again. They're not at the same levels, but you get that'll come back.
Yeah. One great story, when it hit, we put my staff and I, we put our names out there, our cell numbers, our emails, and we said to our athletes, you have an issue, you call us anytime, 24/7, day, night, And one night I get a text from an athlete, 2 words. I'm scared. And that really put everything into perspective for us that we had to do. We're not in athletics anymore. Now we're into getting these people through a very traumatic part of their life, this pandemic, trying to explain it to them and then trying to get them through the social isolation that they were going through at that time.
Right.
So believe you me, it was a very difficult time for Special Olympics, but hopefully, the sun's shining today. Maybe we're moving in a much better direction.
Yeah,
I like how he put. You say this, and I've heard this for the last few years at your event. When you talk, it's not really about Special Olympics. It's about the athletes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You don't really say, "Hey, you're donating to Special Olympics." It's thank you for helping our athletes, and it's not, about the organization. It's about the individual themselves.
Great point, Dan. It's athletes first, and my successor, who's coming in now. When we met for the first time, he said, any advice? I said, yeah, I only got one piece of advice. Always keep the athletes first. Any decision you make, athletes first. And if you do that, you can't go wrong. You may make a wrong decision. That happens. But if you truly in your heart of hearts are putting them first, then you're going to be okay.
Do you think that they were, you said, I'm scared was the text. Do you think they were scared because...
Tip was scared too.
Oh, yeah, I was scared for a long time. Do you think they were scared because they were uncertain of health implications, or was it more like, man, this is the biggest part of a team that I'm on, and I don't get to do that this year.
Yeah.
And will we get to do it again?
Yeah.
There was a while there where
camaraderie and all that stuff.
Am I going to ever be able to play golf again? Am I going to play racquetball? Am I going to be able to go to the
gym? For them, sports is the vehicle. Don't get me wrong. Sports will always be the vehicle. But what they're trying to obtain is acceptance, inclusion,
connection,
respect, dignity, and their team provides them that. So when they go to an event and they're with their teammates, just like any other team.
Yep.
When you're with your teammates, you feel better about yourself.
Yep.
And when you're succeeding on the athletic field, they feel better about themselves. We had a great tagline about 25 years ago, training for life. That's what Special Olympics was doing, building confidence, building self-esteem, so our athletes can go out into the real world and either get a job or do something productive in their eyes. I'll tell you a great story, and certainly Dan can relate to this. About 8 or 9 years ago, I get a call. 4 athletes want to come in and see me. Okay, absolutely. So they come in and they said, we want to play football. On Sundays, we put the TV on, we watch our favorite team, we watch the Patriots, or we watch whoever, and we want to play football. How do we do this? So we bring my program staff in, and we started flag football, co-ed, not co-ed, excuse me, unified, where we had partners who play in along with our athletes, and they're out there on a Sunday morning over in Smithfield, and they got the flags on, and they got the mouthpiece in, and they're playing football. So when you talk about putting athletes first, if they come to you with an idea, you got to find a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
Now there's sometimes you've got to say no. I mean, we've been approached about hockey, and it may be a little difficult to make happen, only because ice time and the cost and the amount and everything. But when they came to us about, hey, we want to play football. I mean, we're in Rhode Island. We're close by to, Foxborough. Let's play football. Absolutely. So, and then once a year they get a chance to go out on the field at Foxborough. The Kraft family invites all of the Special Olympians from Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New England to come out and play one day. Well, what a thrill that is for them. Wow.
Yeah, I bet. In terms of the sports, right? So, what's the biggest one that has the most amount of athletes? Is it track and field, or is it something like that? What one would it be?
Definitely basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah. So in one season we'll do unified, where with and without disabilities play together. 3 athletes with disabilities, 2 without, playing competitively against other teams. And then we do traditional, which is all 5 of the athletes are our athletes playing against other teams. That by far is the most popular sport, the biggest sport.
It's just like the regular kids. It's the easiest sport to play.
All you
need
is
get a ball.
All you need is a basket and a ball and like sneakers.
Sneaks.
Yeah.
So for them, basketball has always been the most popular sport. But years ago, all we did was traditional athletics. It was athletes playing against athletes. And then my counterpart in Connecticut about 20, 25 years ago introduced unified, bringing athletes without disabilities playing with athletes with disabilities. And it absolutely has taken off. And now our athletes, they want to play with their friends without disabilities and play.
That's why.
So
That's how it works.
Connecticut, the guy in Connecticut started that because when my sister was growing up, it was bowling. Yeah. Bowling was a big thing for her. I know weightlifting's a big thing in Special Olympics, and you guys got the, the big Olympic Games, which is international. I mean, who started Special Olympics?
Oh, that's a good question. Do you know?
Yes,
I don't know. Can I make a guess?
Yes.
Can you give me a year?
1960s, early 60s, probably.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a little hint.
No. Don't give him a hint. Don't give him a hint.
Let me just go
because I want to get into unified. I mean, unified.
I'm going right off the cuff.
Unified is new, and I want to get into unified.
One more qualifying question.
How about
one more?
How about you get 2? Okay, one
qualifying question. In politics or not?
Yes.
Gerald Ford.
No.
That's a good guess. That was on the tip of my tongue before I even said that.
American royalty.
American royalty. Kennedys? Got to be the Kennedys.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Gerald Ford was a good guess.
That was a good guess.
Okay. All right. Okay. Kennedys. Okay. That makes sense.
Ford was political. You could have went anywhere. You could have went Abraham Lincoln.
That was a good first qualifying question by me. Well, I didn't look at that either.
It was Eunice Kennedy, or Eunice Shriver Kennedy.
All right. Yeah. Where were we going before that?
Unified sports. Because we live in East Greenwich. And I know.
Oh, you're talking about
how long?
Bowling.
How long has Unified been in Rhode Island? Has it? I don't remember that.
About 15 years.
15. So right before you got there?
Right before I got there, it really started to take off.
And I know, the programs and the schools have all bought into that. The thing now, you got a whole unified, nationwide unified games where these teams can come and compete at national level.
Yeah. So Unified Sports was part of our program. And then in 2010, we introduced Unified Champion Sports in our high schools and in our middle schools. So we were never in our schools before. And then in 2010, 10 high schools introduced Unified Basketball. So here you have a situation where our athletes go to high school, never had the chance to play a varsity sport, never had a chance to play a junior varsity sport. Now they're wearing their school colors. Now they're going through the hallways, high-fiving people because they got a game that day. You know, we always schedule the game at 3:30 so that people who are at the school could come and watch the game. And for the first time, they're wearing their school colors, and they are on a varsity sport playing unified basketball. It then grew from 10 schools. Well, every high school in Rhode Island that has a special ed program has a unified basketball program. We do volleyball in the spring. Volleyball in the fall because all the fall sports are outdoors. We skip the winter because everything's indoors. Then in the spring, when they go back outdoors again, we do basketball in the spring. So that has been a game changer right there. That has been a game changer. And so we do volleyball, we do basketball. And the reason we picked those two sports because they're in the school and it's easy for people to get to the school. The fear that we had if we ever did soccer or football is that you're out on a field, kind of isolated. People have to leave the school and walk to get. We don't think it would have the same attraction as basketball and volleyball. So that's where we've been, since 2010.
I'll tell you, you want to try to tear me up. The one thing besides the dog movies where the dog dies, those Homeward Bound. Homeward Bound. I'm a puddle. Absolute puddle. Shadow comes over that thing. And the kid's like, "Where's my dog?" And then the dog comes over "I missed you, Robert," or whatever. Oh, that one gets me. Peter. Yeah, Peter. That's it, Max. The other thing that gets me when you watch.
I'm gonna walk out of here thinking dog movies.
Yeah, Homeward Bound. That's the one that kills me. So you go, but you get the clip. Usually happens during the winter because it's basketball season, right? You get the clip on Facebook or Instagram that pops up on your phone, and it's senior night, at a big basketball game, packed place in New Jersey or something, right? Yeah. You got goosebumps. And you see, maybe it's the team manager that might be special needs, might be a kid that's playing unified, probably part of Special Olympics, but they want to be part of that club, right? Yeah. And then they put him in the game, and makes a shot.
Yeah.
Waterworks every time, and these things are coming up nonstop now on me. So it's like a big cry festival at night during the winter. Those get me. Those get me good.
They dress the manager for one game. They put him out there.
Nails a three.
Always makes the
nails
shot.
a three every time.
Makes the shot.
Yeah. Crazy.
But now we're
videos.
taking that team manager and we're putting him on a team where he's playing, an 8-week schedule, then having playoffs, then playing for a state championship. So now that team manager isn't a novelty. Part of a team,
That's right.
and that becomes extremely important for, and I remember the first year we did this, we had an athlete from Smithfield High School. What an athlete. This kid was 6'4", could run the floor, score, did everything. So he and I are on a talk show together, and the moderator says to him, all right, you won a state championship, you're wearing your state championship jacket today. What was the best part? And he said, bus rides. Bus rides. And we looked at him, and he said, someone would bring cookies and brownies, and we would just look at each other and have a conversation and talk about things. And to me, that was the best part of and I'll tell another story that will really give you goosebumps. I get a call from a mom one day, and she says, I want to talk about my son. Every day he goes to school. He's autistic. He's on the autistic scale. Every day he goes to school, and he comes home, and I try to engage him in conversation. How was your day today? It was okay. Did you have a good day? Not really. Anything you want to talk about? No. Comes home one day. How was school today? Had a great day today, Mom. She said, why? Well, I joined my unified basketball team. And today I walked in the cafeteria, and one of the partners said, hey, Johnny, come sit with us. Here's a kid who walks into a cafeteria every day with no one no one to sit with, no one really to talk to. He goes off by himself, has his lunch, and goes back into the classroom, right? Something we never knew because we probably all walked into our cafeteria, had a million people to sit with, right? This kid and the mother said, you can't imagine how much you've changed his life just by offering this program and introducing him to some new people who are respecting him and showing some dignity. And he sits with them in the lunchroom now.
Yeah.
Now he comes home and he's a different kid. You know,
Yeah.
How was school today? I had a great day, Mom.
Yeah, and that happens thousands of times that you don't hear about
Thousands
too.
of times.
Right, that
Over
the
and
kid
over
doesn't
again.
tell to the parents,
Yeah.
and parents don't tell it to you.
Right.
That happens all the time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So those are powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful stories. There's another group, team, and they kind of take your approach on this, like the team impact group, where they'll bring in an athlete and put them on like a college team and make them part of that club, and those athletes
Right.
like really take to that person.
Right.
And it's
Right.
like they become one. I know Gary, our CEO, his son was involved with. He was on the hockey team at Babson, or he was the manager, I think, of the hockey team at Babson. They had a team impact group come in, and they said, "This is like the most popular kid on campus."
Oh, sure.
So
Sure.
that's how you
Yeah.
change lives for sure.
For sure.
So yeah. What else you got?
I don't even know where you go after that.
I know, that was a good
no.
story. That's
That
a
was
powerful story.
That was, but
That's you want to go to Ohio State?
I
Is
wanna
that
go
where you
my-
want to go?
I
you were
wanna
talking.
We'll cover that.
Talking
We'll
about
cover that.
flag, and there's
I got to tell my Dan Copen.
Oh, you want to tell it
wedding
now?
story. Can I tell the wedding story?
You're ready for it right
I
now.
know. I love
Oh,
the story.
absolutely. Max, you ready for this?
Oh yeah.
So
All right.
I get a call at my house, and Father Ron, who's the pastor here at Immaculate Conception, says, "Dan, I don't know if you know, but Dan Copen is marrying this
Amber.
Van
Van
Eegen.
Eegen. Yeah.
So Amber Van Eegen, I don't know, Miss Van Eegen, Amber Van Eegen, and I said,
He's lucky enough to marry.
That's very true.
Mix that in.
That's very true.
President of the
That,
Married
that goes.
Club
That
right
goes
there.
without saying.
Yeah,
that goes without saying.
Out kicking the coverage.
President of the
what I
Married
do.
Club. So he says to me, I want a couple of people in the back of the church just standing there. I don't want anyone crashing this wedding or doing something absolutely crazy.
Could you have kept my extended family out, by the way? Where were you on that one?
And so I said to him, so we can assume that what you're saying is Tom Brady's going to be at the wedding. And he said, yes, he is. I said, more importantly, Father, is Mrs. Brady coming to the wedding? And he said to me, it's a sin to lust. And I said, Father, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. But he said, no, I don't think she's coming. I said, okay. So I get to the wedding, and Dan's groomsmen, I think, were all linemen.
There were a couple big guys on there. Yeah.
So Andruzzi
Yep.
was one. I know
Yep.
that for sure because he was showing me his ring. And here comes Tom, right? And it's like a high school cafeteria. Tommy's here. Tom's here. They were like gushing over the fact that here comes the quarterback.
My heart would have been racing.
Oh yeah, for sure. For
seeing
sure.
that beauty walk through.
For sure, right? For sure. Right. So, what Father had said to me in anticipation of this, he said, "Now, look don't bring a football. We don't want this guy signing autographs and make a scene out of this, right?
Sign the program.
Yeah. So,
That would actually be a
anyway.
great keepsake.
the wedding goes off, and of course, what am I doing? I'm waiting for Tom to come out of the church. Now, everyone is out of the church. No Tom Brady. Well, he's taking a picture with the organist. He's taking a picture with Father Ron. He's taking a picture with this one. Everyone is, you know. So finally he comes out, and he's walking to his car. And I said, Tom, would you mind signing something for me? And he said, of course I will. What do you got? I said, well, believe it or not, the only thing I have is a golf ball because they told me I couldn't bring in a football or anything big.
Whatever fits in your pocket.
And so he goes, come on, of course I'll sign it. So I sign it. And then I said to him, Tom, by the way, my car is right next to yours. It's the one with the Ohio State stickers on it. Mm-hmm. And he looks at me and he says, give me the ball back.
That is a good story.
The rivalry is still strong.
That is a good story.
Yeah, that day was supposed to be
When was
about
that?
Amber.
Yeah.
Not about him. I think
It was.
thanks
It
to
was.
Dennis, I think it
kept him away.
went off pretty well.
Oh, it was
good.
a beautiful
I don't-
ceremony. Oh, it
that
was
was-
a beautiful wedding.
What time of year was that?
April.
Do you know what day?
11th.
Okay, good. April 11th. I'm glad you remember that.
April 11th.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice day?
It was a nice day. It was
day?
a really nice day.
Where'd you go to?
It was a
right after?
Friday night wedding. Apparently
Friday
that's
night
not
betting. That's not that. That's common now.
It is common,
Yeah,
but
very
back then it was like, why aren't we doing this on a Saturday? I think we did it on Friday because we had it at the Biltmore, the reception.
You want to have it at,
and I don't think they had Saturday available. So I think
and you were
that's
probably a late planner on this. I'm saying that because the athletes,
not
it's
me,
tough.
not me.
No, but athletes, it's tough. You
I don't know if we were a late
Are you,
planner. I
you
think
know,
we
are you
had
going to
enough
be in
time to
camp?
plan.
Are you going to be in a mini camp? Are you going to be? Is the season going to be over? Do you schedule it around?
Yeah, it was
You know?
scheduled around
Right.
that type of thing.
Got it.
When we could get a week
Yeah.
vacation or
Is that when
honeymoon.
most guys get married? NFL that time of year?
I don't know, Tip.
I
I
feel like
don't
it's
have
a
the
good
stats
question.
on that.
I feel like it's a good question to ask.
I would.
I like that Dan kind of looked over at me like I might know.
because
I would assume.
Well, let me tell
I would
you-
assume the off season is probably the way to go in the marriage thing for
Let me
players.
tell you why I asked that. Because,
When did you get married?
Well, almost.
What day
well,
did
I
you
got
get
married?
What day did you get married?
I was October 1st.
Got to think about it for a second.
Yep, I'm right on that.
So that was right in the middle of the season.
Yes, but my season was done by then. As in my
Oh,
career,
gotcha.
my career was done by then.
Oh, you weren't playing in October.
But I would tell you is the weddings that I've been to for a lot of my buddies that either in the major leagues or in the minor leagues or wherever. Usually they're all falling in that November to New Year's.
Yeah, right when they
That's
have
that's
the
the
time.
most common time, and that's a tight window because
Yeah.
baseball season's so long.
Yeah.
And usually you're going to camp like right around New Year's. Like you're going at least to work out, and then you go to spring training. So like. Then you start playing games, and you play every day, remember?
Sure.
Like for the whole time. So, and then you take the gamble on, am I going to be in the playoffs? Like, am I going to get called? A lot of guys take the gamble on if they're going to get called up or not, right? If they're in the minor leagues and they book a, September 25th wedding, right? And then they're in single A. And they booked that a year before, and all of a sudden you get hot, and like now you're in the big leagues, you get a September call up, and you're like, well, I guess we're not getting married now.
Might want to put that
So
out
that
for
has
a while.
happened. I know that's happened a bunch. So
I believe it.
that's a good story.
My
I like
wife
that
drops me she says, we're engaged. We're going to get married. She goes, I booked everything. I said, when is it? And she said, November 24th. I said, November 24th. I said, 1990? Yeah, 1990, November 24th. I said, Michigan, Ohio State is playing on November 24th. I said, I hope it's not around 12 noon. No, it's a 4 o'clock wedding. I said, okay, good. I got 3 hours.
Yeah,
watch
you can
the
get
game.
it in.
I'll
That's good.
So because we don't have big time football in Rhode Island, obviously, I
That's
have
the team you latched
I
onto,
have.
huh?
I know. I have a ton of relatives.
You didn't-
out in
okay. You
Ohio.
didn't go there?
No. I have
So-
a ton of relatives in Ohio. In 1980, I forget, 85, 86, the year that Hobler guaranteed, he was the quarterback. He was guaranteed that Michigan would beat Ohio State when he was quarterback. And I get invited out to go to the game. Now you walk into a stadium like that, and you're like, I don't see anything like this in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And Boston College
it's
is
not-
great.
it's not
but
that.
It's not
No.
Boston College.
You don't need to pump it up. It's not great. No, it is great, but
Oh, it's a great school, but it's not.
in terms of
it's not
the big
that
house
facility.
No,
I mean,
it's
it would
not
be.
like
and by the
that.
way,
No.
it's a shame that it's not. It's a shame that's not because that would be New England's kind of team.
Yeah.
Right.
It is New England. It should be New England State.
Should
It
be.
is. It is.
It is.
It is. It's just a pro sports town.
That's
Yeah.
it.
But
You know,
that's
I
what
mean,
it
that's
is.
just the way it
Yeah.
is.
It
Which
would
is
be
pro
New
sports.
England's team of like, hey, everybody
Yeah.
comes like Alabama or wherever,
Yeah.
and it doesn't get the heat. It should. We need
I
a
went
good
up
college
there
team.
4 or 5 years ago playing Notre Dame at home, and it wasn't a sellout.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How can you not have a sellout?
Well,
Between
with Notre
Boston
Dame, with all
College
the
and Notre
Catholics.
Dame.
Dennis, I would like to interject here. I believe it was a sellout. Everybody was just out in the field drinking. That's kind of what happens. They usually don't show up till the second quarter or something like that.
Why are we going to go watch this crappy football team play? We're just
Wait a minute. It's a weekend. We can go outside and drink. That's what we do. What about this weekend? We got a big game between Ohio State and Notre Dame, and it's been pretty publicized the last few days of the disrespect that Notre Dame is getting. I think it's like a 14 to 17 point,
15 point underdog.
underdog.
Yeah.
Going in, is it at Ohio State?
It's at Ohio State.
Oh, okay, that makes sense a little bit. But
Early college season spreads are tough too. Early college, they're all
how do we
over the
feel
place.
about Ohio State
And
this year?
Marcus Freeman coming back, head coach.
Yeah,
of Notre
he's a
Dame,
D coordinator
linebacker.
there, or
he was
assist-
the line. Played football at Ohio State.
Yes.
He was starting linebacker for 3 out of his 4 years. Now he's the head coach at
Didn't he
Notre
coach
Dame.
there too in the beginning?
Yeah, coached a little bit at Ohio State, and then he went to Notre Dame as their defensive coordinator. Now he comes back as the head coach. second game as a head coach because he coached in the bowl game last year.
Bowl games really don't count nowadays.
Yeah, but here he is coming into Ohio Stadium, and I'm sure he's playing that card over and over again. They're disrespecting us. No respect here. But I think the Buckeyes are going to be on a mission this year.
Okay.
They're going to be on a mission.
You're saying top 4 college playoff.
Yeah, especially on November 26th when Michigan comes to town.
Is that the only game that they really care about?
Yeah.
Even if they lose, I mean, they're not going to. But what if they lose every other game and they beat Michigan? Does that save a job? Does that save a job?
Well, a lot of coaches have lost their jobs by not beating Michigan.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to look at it.
John Cooper was a great coach at Ohio State. Couldn't beat Michigan. Went 2-11, and then he lost his job.
So what about?
You got to beat Michigan.
Who won last year? Michigan or Ohio State? Ohio State.
Michigan won.
That was the first time Harbaugh beat him, right?
10 years.
Yeah,
first time in 10 years, on a frozen field. Took the speed away from Ohio State. They couldn't.
We're making excuses. Right?
You can't make a bigger. That was the biggest excuse I've heard somebody say in this room. That was a big excuse.
Yeah,
the
frozen field, and but they ran through us.
I got to tell you, and Vrabel was at the wedding as well.
Vrabel,
when he left New England, and he went as a linebackers coach to Ohio State right after he retired, which doesn't happen a lot. But Urban Meyer was there. And he hired Vrabel as a linebacker coach. I thought 1,000% Vrabel was going to be the next head coach at some point in his career of Ohio State. And then he got in the NFL and he realized he doesn't have to recruit, and it's not as hard of a job. Yeah. It's still it's a very, very hard job to coach anywhere, but you take recruiting and traveling, talking to high school kids, which can be difficult at times. And, and dealing at that level, it's a different type of coaching.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if he goes back, but I think Ohio State would welcome him if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think.
But Ryan Day, who was also offensive coordinator at Boston College before he went to Ohio State, is a phenomenal coach as well.
And
he's the head coach at Ohio State.
You go Luke Fickell at Cincinnati.
Yeah,
another ex-Buckeye.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of people in the coaching ranks that probably have their eye on Ohio State, but the timing has to be right, as you well know. If no one's leaving. Ryan Day, will the pros come after him at some point and give him an offer and he leaves? A lot of interesting stuff on the college side. That's fun. I never thought in a million years Jim Tressel would ever go.
Well, he cheated. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Sort of had to fire him.
Sweater vest.
I mean, if you're okay with cheating, I guess you're a normal, Power 5 program.
So
you're in the Thunderdome now.
I'm getting killed now.
Now you're in the Thunderdome.
I never thought Ohio State would lose Jim Tressel, and I never thought the Boston Red Sox would lose Terry Francona, and they both got fired in the same year.
Yep,
same year.
It's true.
They both got fired.
Yeah. It's a beast of an industry in pro sports in general, right? I mean, right now we're listening to it a lot with Belichick, right? People are cranked up on Belichick right now.
I hate to say this, but
he's going to say it.
I think it's time.
See, that's a heavy comment coming from a guy with your stature.
I think it's time.
It's crazy. It's crazy to say that, though, isn't it?
I just think it's time. I don't know.
It's crazy to say that.
I know.
Think about what we've had.
I know. Think of the run, and I mean, just a brilliant coach. We all know that, but.
And then you look at.
You're not going to jump in on this one.
No, I'm going to let you go. I'm just going to see where this thing goes.
Let me hang.
Right?
I mean, what a run! But I don't know. I just think maybe some new ideas.
Yeah.
And we don't even have an offensive coordinator who's calling the plays.
The offensive line is frustrated right now. I told him yesterday. I listened to it. They're all mad because they don't have a real coach. They don't have a real unit. They got people that are like, I don't know what I'm doing. Mac Jones might get killed because of that because they're not in sync. You've always said that. You've always said that forever. You guys were just like, I never even. This is my favorite thing to say to Dan. Really, I didn't really know all of your names. I just knew you guys as one unit that was really good.
That's the best compliment you can get,
right? That's true, right? It was because that line there was a good run where it was probably it was a 5U, but then probably one or two more plugged in for probably 7 years.
Yeah, probably right around there.
Yeah,
one or two got plugged.
Brady didn't get knocked down too many times.
Like there was a long
run. Didn't get knocked down too
Logan,
many times.
Light, me. And there was, Steve Neal or Andruzzi in the beginning.
Yeah, Hochstein.
And then Hochstein
Yep.
would mix
Yep.
in, and Vollmer,
Yeah, it was a
Solder,
good crew there. And then
Callahan. There was a bunch of guys that contributed.
you'll like this picture. If you haven't been in here, we got to try to get you into this spot. Dan brought me in last spring, into the locker room, into the players area.
Oh, in the beginning,
the front entrance.
Yeah,
Greatest picture. We could probably find it online too. It's who is it? You, Mankins.
it's me, Mankins, Gorin.
It's five.
No, I think
4 or 5 of you.
It was either Gorin or Ashworth.
Absolutely
And Light
covered.
and Neal.
Oh, Light and Neal. That's
Neal, Logan, me, or maybe it was Joe. No, whatever.
It was 4 or 5 of you.
It was either, I think it was Gorin, Neal, me, Logan, and Light.
covered in mud. Head to toe.
That's
Head
football.
to toe.
That's
right? And it's a
football.
huge picture. Right when you walk into their facility, you go in, there's a desk there. It's Belichick's guy, right? Like
Yeah.
like right behind it or something.
Yeah, his number one guy.
So you walk in, a huge
The
picture.
guy
bigger
you
than
don't
this.
want. The guy you don't want to come and rip you out of a meeting. Probably.
That's true. You know, the size of 2 of these walls. Big, huge picture. So it's life size. And it's covered in mud. And there's one figure in that picture that doesn't have a speck of mud.
Speck of dirt.
And it's 12 just there. Looks like an angel in the middle of them. But there's a reason for that.
Did you see a
And
glow?
He never went down. Like
never.
they never got to
No,
him.
they never got to him.
These guys were covered.
Let me ask this question. Why does Boston College produce so many quality offensive linemen? I think that's what they're noted for now.
Yeah,
There always seems to be
good linemen.
someone in the pros.
I think they.
offensive line from Boston College.
I think you just want to recruit and get good, solid kids in there, right?
Smart,
kids
too.
that are smart, kids
Yep.
that want to work. We had great coaches at Boston College, especially on the offensive line. But I think lineman is one of those things. You don't have to be the greatest athlete to succeed. You can use great technique, fundamentals. You can use your brains. There's more than one way to get to the spot that you need to get to win the block.
Were you recruited by anybody else besides Boston College? I'm sure you had
Yeah.
other opportunities.
Yeah, I think for me it probably.
This is not my podcast.
yeah.
I'm like,
Thanks, Dennis.
Hit us both.
It came down basically between Syracuse and Boston College.
No, what about my? This is a great story that you have. I think it was Virginia.
Oh yeah,
They had the old. When you watch a movie and they got the recruiting board up and you see all the names.
It wasn't as computerized back then.
They had the
So-
magnets.
The
or
magnet
something. They
names.
stick them on the wall. Here's our depth. Not our depth chart, but here are the recruits we're going after for this position.
yeah.
Was it Virginia?
Did we already tell the story? though?
I think we did, but just
But,
tell
all right,
us.
so I went down for an unofficial visit to Virginia my junior summer, just to take a quick look at like VTech, Virginia. We went to NC State, Duke, maybe a couple other schools or something. So I was getting letters from Virginia, and then just one day they stopped. But I had met, and actually he was a groomsman, Noel LaMontagne. He was a lineman at Virginia, All-American, and he played at a high school in my area where I grew up, and we became friends. And he was worked at the agency that I signed with, and he was a groomsman in my wedding. But I kind of like he told me the story one time. I sort of didn't get it, and then finally we sat down and we really talked about it. So they had the magnetic strips of everybody they were recruiting, the names that they were talking to. And he said when they went in to clean out the guy what the heck,
Coach, who was it?
Welsh.
I don't remember who it was.
Welsh was the coach, I think. When he left or retired or got fired, they went into this guy who was responsible for recruiting the Lehigh Valley or Pennsylvania. They found my name from the magnet, from the board behind the desk, and that's why the recruiting letters just stopped, and I never heard from him again.
The world works in mysterious
Recruiting
ways.
101,
Dennis.
huh?
Yeah.
Recruiting 101.
So if you're
The only
using
name-
those, be careful.
the only name on the floor.
No, it wasn't the only one.
Copeland.
There was some other ones. It wasn't just me. But yeah,
that's great.
The name had fallen off the board, and that's why they
It
lost
worked,
contact.
Worked out.
Oh, I wouldn't change it.
About 30 years ago, well, actually, when I came on board, I did away with the Celebrity Carnival. I think you came one or 2 years to the Celebrity
Yes.
Carnival. We'd do a luncheon in the afternoon, then after that, we'd have the carnival.
Yeah, and I
down
went
at
on
dump.
the program you
Yeah.
guys had on Cox.
That's right.
Yep.
So 30 years ago, we had a couple of people from Rhode Island. they were able to walk into the Patriots locker room and ask players if they wanted to come to the Celebrity Carnival. No security, no, just free access. They'd walk over to Mosi Tutupu and say, would you like to come down to the carnival? I'd love to. What's the date? Give them the date. You show up at the carnival. How things have dramatically
I don't think you're getting in there right now.
They wouldn't let him in. It was 10, I was willing. It was 10 questions before they even let him in. They were looking through the eye. They're like New England clam chowder. Wouldn't even let him in. He's on the board right behind you. Right behind you, there's a picture of him.
67.
My key card doesn't work anymore. I wonder why.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah, that was fun that day, though. Those pictures were like, you walk down those halls, it's like all just, tons of memorabilia. I mean, it's just so much. There's just in these years. And were you a different fan? Were you a fan of any other team for a pro? Or were you like one of these fair weather fans? Patriots,
no, well,
or?
Back in the day when I was like, very young, all we had were the Giants. In this area, you watch the Giants.
Yep.
And then when the Patriots came along, we watched a little bit of both. And then, obviously, when they started taking off, I mean, everyone all of a sudden became a Patriot.
That was an easy one. I mean,
but never Dallas, never Oakland.
Yep.
Oakland, if was a mock from Cranston. So if he was playing, you would always root for the guy from your hometown, of course. But no, never. Never, and I never thought I'd ever see the day where the Patriots would ever win a Super Bowl or go on a run like this. I mean, we were the laughing stock of professional football for how many years?
I was just a little too young to realize that. I'm 30, so I'm 38. So it was like I've seen majority of this run in the time that I remember. Right? I liked the.
Well, even 95, 96, they went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
too, so.
and that was when you're already like, oh, okay, like they're getting better. But like I was like the 49ers early on. I think I just liked the colors. I had the starter jacket.
Yeah.
But then I've been Pats kind of through and through since probably 10 years old, which is.
All right, well, before you write them off this season, let's just let it play out a little bit.
I'm not writing it off.
It sounds like you guys are just like
back in the day, though. It
sounds like you guys have been listening to too much talk radio during the day.
I haven't been. That's what's wrong.
Oh, my God. They crush them right now.
Well,
they're killing Belichick right now.
You got to give them time. And the defense looks like it's going to be very good, very talented, right? Got a lot of good corners and safeties, and he'll do something special.
That's what's funny.
Always do
That's
something
what's
special.
funny, Dennis. Right? We're both like, is it time? But then all of a sudden, like, okay, wait a minute here. They're 6-2. You know what I mean? Can that happen?
Yeah.
And then is everybody back on again?
No, they'll be back on in a heartbeat if they're.
I'll say this. For I don't know how many years, I always said, what would it be like if Brady had to play against Belichick's defense? Mm-hmm. I said that 100 times. What would Belichick do special if he had to play against Tom Brady? And it finally happened. Mm-hmm. Was it last year?
Yep.
Yeah.
2 years ago, right?
2 years. Yeah.
2 years.
Not last year. 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Can't believe you didn't.
And I think Belichick had his number that day. I mean, they won. There's no doubt. Tampa Bay won the game, but I think Belichick had his number that day.
They didn't have the best day.
They won on a field goal, right? Didn't they?
They won on a field goal late.
And they just needed to shove that field goal one way or the other. I was rooting for both things to happen. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I was in a world of emotion.
I thought. I don't know the game well enough to strategize.
I think if you play against or coach a guy long enough, you know what he likes, what he doesn't like, what he likes to go against, and I think that's what we had. When we would play. When Mangini went into the Jets, or Mangini was with the Browns or something like that.
Yeah, you're playing their defense.
We had tough games against guys that came from our coaching staff and were on other teams.
It seems like Belichick, he ties that quarterback up. He did it to Manning for 100 years. He just tied him up.
Yep.
And I don't know what he did. I don't know what the strategies were. I really don't. And I'm sure there's something a little bit more intricate than what I would.
Just with the strategy on the Colts, I think we're just a tougher team. Let's just come down with that.
And they always say when he.
What was their banner that they had?
Oh yeah, the runner-up banner.
AFC runner-up.
I think it was. AFC was it AFC's finalists? Yeah, AFC
finalists. That's what it was.
AFC championship finalists or something like that.
That's a bad banner.
Didn't even win that game.
Soft.
But it seems like every time he plays somebody for the first time, that rookie quarterback comes in, He ties them in knots. He did it to that kid from San Diego.
And Sam Darnold. Remember, he was like seeing ghosts out here.
Yeah.
That's what he said on the sideline.
Yeah.
He said seeing ghosts.
It's going to be interesting because he's got Joe Burrow coming in this year. And this is the
he's
first
no
time
rookie.
Burrow.
He's no rookie.
Joe Burrow too is kind of like my. He's my next kind of
Your
guy.
next crush.
But the problem is my crush is still playing football. So when's he going to stop? That's what we can't figure out. But I know.
Yeah, he left Ohio State. What's going on there?
Wasn't good enough to play for us.
Yeah.
And then he hit puberty, I think.
Then he won the Heisman. Then he won the national championship. Became the first round draft.
Yeah, and is a stud. I think he's a real deal too.
He's the real deal.
What about baseball? Are you a Red Sox fan or what? Who you root for? You
yeah,
Yankee? I feel like you could be one of these Patriots Yankees guys.
No, all New England.
Okay.
All New England through and through.
Except Ohio State.
Except for the Buckeyes.
Patriots Yankees guys.
Hence,
and I mean that
hence
by
it's a pro
my
sports
in-laws.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that by Mike and
Exhibit
Ronnie.
A.
They're Patriots Yankees guys.
But you know something, and my wife will tell you this. When the Patriots were going good and they were winning, I'd watch. But these guys are on TV. It's like clear the house. I got to be by myself. 3 hours. You better
Chips
take
and
the kids
salsa.
out. Take the kids out. There's going to be a lot of swearing going on. There's going to be a lot of yelling and screaming.
Yep.
But when the Patriots were playing in their heyday, they were winning Super Bowls. I liked it. I loved it. I just thought back
different.
about how bad. But it wasn't the passion that I had.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And now we got football season coming. Thankfully, there's something to watch on the weekends now.
yeah.
It
It's
is.
been rough.
Red Sox, a 3.5 hour baseball game is tough to watch.
They're trying to shrink it up.
Especially when there's 162 of them, and you know the players don't.
I don't mind the
care about all of them.
162, but they get they're working on it, trying to speed this thing up more. But also, they got to somehow these rivalries have to pop back again. It's not the same. Remember, like Red Sox Yankees 2004, 2001, 2007. It was like I watched every second of it.
Yeah, but now they're saying that next year, every team in the Major League Baseball will play every other team once, which will reduce
the number you
the
play
amount
in
of times you're playing the
division.
Yankees.
Yeah. So, I
Gonna go
like
backwards.
that because you'll see. One thing I need to do too. I want to do a stadium thing. I got a bunch of buddies that have done this, where they've been to every stadium.
Yeah,
I think that would be fun. Have you thought about that for football? Is that something people do for football too?
Yeah, absolutely.
They go watch everything.
Yep.
And that's how you get that a lot because you get down to the end, and if you're trying to track your team, you're like, oh, the Red Sox haven't played the Diamondbacks in Arizona. Perfect, I'm going. Then
And I would love to go to every
Arizona.
Big Ten school and see the Buckeyes play on the road, at Minnesota and Michigan State. I've been to Michigan. I've been to Rutgers.
Penn State.
Have not been to Penn State. We were there. My brother and I did a road trip on my retirement, and we ended up going to Penn State, spending a couple of hours at Penn State. But have not been to Penn State for a game.
The place is loud.
The place is huge. And we went there, and this gentleman, he said, "I'll take you on a tour." The poor guy, he had a cane, and and I said to him, "All right." I said, "I'm gonna." His name was Lou. I said, "All right, Lou, who was the greatest player to ever play at Penn State?" He didn't blink. He said, "John Cappelletti." I said, "You're talking Franco Harris. You're talking all those great linebackers. You're talking, He goes, "John Cappelletti." And then he went off about how great Joe Paterno was, which made me smile. So,
Yep.
Here's weird. I got one story for you, though.
You ready?
All right, so we're going into Notre Dame. It was my 5th year. They were ranked 2, 3, or 4 in the country. They just played Florida State the week before.
You're going there?
We went there.
Touchdown Jesus?
Touchdown Jesus. We're going there, and they were talking about national championship time. And remember, what was it, 93? It was like the same scenario. Notre Dame had beaten Florida State, and then BC comes into Notre Dame, and they won on the field goal. So we're going in. They're undefeated. We're a good football team. We're probably top 25 that year at some point. But my roommate, Brian St. Pierre, was a quarterback, was a captain, along with a couple other guys, defense, I forget who it was. But they're going out for early for the coin toss or something like that, and the refs are right there trying to lead them out. And all of a sudden, the ref turns around, and he's like pushing the guys away. And our captains are like, "What the heck?" I almost cursed there. What is going on here? What is going on here? Or what are you guys doing? And he's like, "Hold on, they're coming." And he moves them out of the tunnel off to the side, and my buddy, Brian, just turns around. And he's like, all you saw was a sea of green because they brought out the green uniforms that day. Oh. And it was Tyrone Willingham. Was that the coach at the point?
Yeah.
just a sea of green coming down the tunnel at Notre Dame. And I was a Notre Dame fan a little bit growing up, and playing in the stadium was really cool. But then when they came out with that green uniform and the place just goes absolutely ape.
Yeah.
There's a curse.
Yeah, there's a curse.
And then we went on to beat them that game too, and just crushed their season. It was great.
All right, let me ask one question.
Yeah.
The meanest person you played against?
The meanest?
Meanest.
We asked the meanest.
Meanest.
You said the
I'm
toughest.
talking about the guy on that defensive line who was just ruthless, mean.
I know.
Toughest is Chris Jenkins.
Well, and then you've also.
I don't know if I played
mentioned,
with a lot of mean guys.
Chris Jenkins?
Chris Jenkins. He was a D tackle for the Panthers when we played him in the Super Bowl in 2003. And then he was a nose guard at the Jets the last few years.
And then you also say a lot. Zach Thomas was like hitting.
Was
like hitting a cement wall.
Yeah, but he wasn't mean though. He was tough as nails.
He had a head the size of
small,
like
downhill, small but compact and powerful. Jeez. When he came downhill, I was like, oh god, here we go. This is gonna hurt.
That one guy who was just, that guy is mean.
I don't think you've dropped into the mean category before.
Linemen are a different breed. Whether you're defensive lineman, or offensive lineman, it's like you conserve your energy when you can. Mm-hmm. So when you get done with the play, you just walk back to the huddle or jog back and try and get ready for the next one. Yeah. The defense. Channing Crowder was not a nice person.
Oh, nice.
And I want to say Sam Madison from the Dolphins too. Light did not have a lot of friends on the Miami Dolphins. Sam Madison, I think Channing Crowder were not nice.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Defensive line, I'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
Meanest. You've always said Zach Thomas. You mentioned Zach Thomas.
You always by the way, he's a great guy. Zach Thomas is a great guy. Hell of a football player. Should be in the Hall of Fame someday.
He has a 4 cement block head.
Oh my God, he was.
He's like a Lego man.
You want to talk about a downhill line? That was. Yeah. There's your guy.
He was tough.
How about on the Patriots? If we had to pick somebody that you had to go against on the defensive side of the football,
who's mean? I mean, good. I mean, Seymour, Will Fork.
Will Fork's tough.
Will Fork could do a lot of different things. He could
big, so agile for a big guy.
Gappy. He could corral you, and then he could also penetrate up the field too. So he was tough.
Your tough guy was Steve Neal, though, right? You said like the guy, number one guy,
a great guy, very nice guy,
but number one guy you don't want to get in a fight with.
You do not want to mess with Steve Neal. He was a world championship wrestler. Never played college football, but I guarantee you he could.
That's
kick
amazing.
Anybody.
Never played.
Brew was tough and smart, undersized, but he just got around it with his brains.
Yeah, that's what the guy sitting at home wants to know.
That's right.
Who's the jerk?
There you go.
Who's the meanest guy?
We can bring you on a guest host.
The game's changed. It's not like the old days with with Mark's Raiders. You're sitting out there with Jack Tatum,
cast,
and all that
people
stuff.
with the cast.
Let's just see how much stickum we can throw in our arm and cheat here or something. Those are some meat guys like Hendricks and all those.
Yeah.
You did mention earlier. You said when you clear out the room, at the house, you said there's going to be some swearing, right?
Awful.
And Dan just dropped in. So a while ago, we used to let it rip a little bit more. We used to kind of say what we want. We didn't harness it as much. And the what do you call it? Who are the police of the airwaves?
The FTC?
No, FCC.
FCC,
right?
Yeah.
They didn't really come down on us, but I like to say that that's a story. It might have been Gary and Frank in the other office being like, hey,
stop
watch the swears or beep them. So what we started was a swear jar. This is maybe a month and a half ago. Here's our swear jar. Every time we were saying a swear, we'd throw a $5 bill in there, $10 bill in there.
There you go.
And we said, what we're going to do, though, is we're going to give this to somebody.
Sure.
We're giving it to Special Olympics.
All right.
Okay. So
great.
I don't know how much is in there because I don't know how many swears. A couple $100, $150.
Yep, $160.
Hey, we're giving it to you.
Hey, that's only a month and a half.
Hey, and it's Rhode Island, so we're going to give you a cash envelope. Slide it across the table.
Cash.
Right? You got to go give that to them. Can you do that for us?
Well, I will, but
can we have a? Can we have a?
That's effing. That's effing outstanding.
Okay, all right. He's going to add to it. All right, there we go. All right, beautiful. All right, we'll add.
Can we have a tax write-off?
Yeah, can you send us a slip?
I would like $80 and he would like $80.
So we're going to reload it again, though. So, and we've already said that this is what that's for. It's for the Special Olympics Rhode Island.
So we always say it when it's really special and we need it.
That's right.
Can I tell one quick story before we end up?
Absolutely.
So, high school, I played basketball and played played the highest level of basketball, played a little bit in college. And so Saturday mornings, we used to go over to a local gym here in Cranston and play basketball and, light it up a little bit when we were a lot younger. So one day I go over to the gym and Mark Van Egen's going to guard me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have a great day. I mean, the ball's going in and scoring. It's great, And I go home and I'm thinking, man, oh man, Mark Van Egen was guarding me and I kicked his a little bit. I had a pretty good day.
It's $5 more, by the way.
Yeah.
$5 more. That's right, man. So I go back the next week, right? I take my first shot. He hits me so hard. I roll. And there was a door there. There was a door, and I'm rolling toward the door. I roll out of the door. And he comes over. He gives me his hand.
Oh,
He goes,
yeah.
Dan, are you okay, Denny? Are you okay? I said, yeah, Mark, I'm really fine. But the message was sent that he was not going to allow me to have a day like I had the week before. Just knocked me. Bang,
Yeah. And then if you get the handshake and you feel that handshake, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, there's a big hand.
He's picking me up.
This
He
guy
got me
is
this.
strong.
He got me this summer. This summer he got me on it where I wasn't quite ready and he got the fingers and I was like, he got me.
Can we do that again? I need a better one.
Damn it, I wanted to lang that thing.
The rest of that Saturday morning, I did a lot of passing.
Yeah, a lot of dishing the ball. A lot
They
of
said,
dishing
how
the
come you're
ball.
not shooting this week? I think I've had enough of shooting. I think I shot enough last week, and I'm not going to roll out of the gym anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But
hey, well, you had great run there. Are you actually retiring? Are you actually taking some time?
Yeah, I think something if something comes my way down the road, who knows? But right now, like I told people over and over again, if I wanted to work, I had the greatest job in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great.
I wouldn't leave it.
That's great.
If I really wanted to work, I would have stayed right where I was.
Makes sense.
But the time has come. It's a great time for the organization to move in a different direction. If the new person wants to move it in that
Who's coming in, by the way?
His name is Ed Pacheco.
Okay.
And Ed.
My father-in-law was asking. That's why he wanted to
Ed
make
Pacheco,
sure.
he was a former rep out of Burrillville, and he ran the Rhode Island College Foundation. So he has a background in fundraising. Great personality, very outgoing. I think he'll do a great job. And like I've said this 100 times, it takes an awful lot to screw up Special Olympics because everyone just loves it so much. It's just such a great organization. It's feel good. It's great. And everyone who supports it knows they're doing a great thing.
That's right. Yeah.
If he's getting your recommendation, I'm sure the organization's in great hands. And congrats on your 13 years.
Thanks,
and
Dan.
thank you for everything that you did. And I'm sure
you.
you're going to be very much involved.
Hey, and also
with
if
things
you're
going
if you're free for the golf tournament next year, we can kick Frank out. You can jump on our team. We'll still have him pay the bill, by the way, but we'll bring you in.
Hey, thanks for having me today.
Of course,
thank you.
I was really looking
we had
forward
this
to
plan for a while. We were hoping to see you at the golf, and then as soon as I saw him, like, we got to grab him.
I just hope Belichick doesn't get a copy of this podcast.
We send this to him. He approves it. Yeah. Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Past Our Prime is brought to you by Squad Locker. Squad Locker is your one-stop shop for custom team apparel, delivered right to your front door. Learn more by visiting squadlocker.com.